things. I've been through a lot of difficult things, and this is the most difficult one that has literally scared me to the point where I have been stalling for an hour to film this video for you. So thank you for watching, thank you for sticking around, and thanks for putting up with my crazy ass. There were things that I said to people that got really hurt that I wish I could take back. At this point in my life, I am aware of how powerful this darkness is. The awareness of mental health is how important it is to understand that you are not crazy, that we've all been through it, we are all going through it, and no, we don't all have our shit together. If you're mentioned in this story, if you feel like you are a part of this story, thank you. So I felt it was necessary to share my story with you, because if someone was coming up to me and was like, hey, I want to know everything about you, I was like, ha, go fuck yourself. I am sorry for everything that I have done in my past, and I appreciate everything that did happen in my past, because every single thing that has happened up until this point has happened for a reason, and I am so thankful to God, whatever God you believe in, that it did, because it brought me here. What the fuck? Pretty fucking blessed. That's not something I could have said a few years ago. So I'm gonna walk you back through the last few years. And so a couple of years ago, I was at like a really, really, really bad point. I was in our bedroom and could not physically get out of bed. I couldn't move. And I had moved to Florida. I had taken control of my life. I had got rid of some really negative energies in my life. And I couldn't figure out why the fuck I couldn't shake this. Like, what was wrong with me? Everything seems so great. Why am I such a bitch? Why is life happening to me? Yeah, I was cyberbullied really bad. But I went out and I put out a message and I was like, listen, I don't know if anybody else out there is dealing with this. I don't know if I'm crazy, and I probably am, but I can't shake this darkness that's looming over me right now. And I need to know that someone else out there is dealing with this. I got more response on that post than I have ever heard. This outpouring of people that have been in my life my whole life, that I looked up to, and I was like, whoa, the fuck? I'm not crazy. Okay, maybe a little bit. That's okay too. What the fuck? I was dumbfounded. And that's the moment everything changed. So I'm gonna take you back. My parents split when I was about 4. My mom was 23 years younger than my dad. Good job, Dad. Mom, we're here. It's very LA of them. Born and raised in Santa Monica, very California. So anyway, they split and I was about 4, and very early on, I felt the need to be a caregiver. I don't know if that was necessarily my job, but it was definitely the one that I took on, and couldn't figure out why everything had happened. Candidly, my dad was an alcoholic. The minute that my mom left, he went to AA. On our weekends, we didn't go to Sunday school. We went to AA. And everybody else, all of the other kids would sit there and they would color, or they would, run around outside. And I sat there and I remember watching these people of affluence. And because of the location, some were celebrities. Some were people that I personally looked up to. They got up there and they said, hey, good morning, like that good echoey voice. And I was just like alert. Every person that got up there had a story, but at the end of that story was some shed of light. No matter how dark that story started, it was light at the end. And everybody got up and they would go, hey, what's up? My name is so-and-so. I'm fucked up. You're fucked up? Let's be friends. And that was normal to me from about age 5 on. My dad always said, just know that there's a God. Homie, you're not it. Fast forward, high school. My dad and I didn't get along so well. The point is, we really had a tumultuous relationship throughout my adolescence and really into like my late teens, early 20s. It got to a point where I just kind of like cut him off. I'm sorry for that. I was at such a dark space in my life, in a really, really horrible relationship. If this ever gets to you, I'm sorry for my part in things. Yeah, I'm really sorry. When you are struggling with anxiety and depression, there is this all-consuming beast. It's why I refer to them as the Dementors. Dark in your life. It's almost like there's a veil. And you're like, why is everybody seeing things one way and I am seeing them another, and I am thinking these things about myself, and why do I hate me so much? All of these things that I'm apologizing for, that I'm reflecting on, have happened for me, not to me. My parents getting divorced, having to grow up super young, becoming a mini mom. All of these things have so much value, but could so easily be put into the box of trauma. And I just refuse to let trauma define me. At this point, I cut myself off from my dad, wasn't talking to him, moved out of the apartment that he was helping me with, moved back in with my mom, had no job. Lost a job that I loved because I let anxiety and depression get the reins. I didn't feel like I was a good person. A better way to say that might have been, I wasn't the best person that I know I could have been in that situation. Everything was so dark that I had to get control of something. So in comes fitness. It started with 7 minutes a day because there was an app. It was a 7-minute app. I put on my underwear and a yoga mat and my iPad or whatever. If I can just get 7 fucking minutes a day, I'm doing something right. What did my brain flash back to? AA. What was the first thing my dad always said? Okay, well, if your depression is kicking in, make your bed in the morning. So I'd make my bed in the morning, 7 minutes. I got to wear my yoga pants if I worked out, because that's how girls work. And then I went and I started working out. It felt really good. And then it got really unhealthy really fast because it was the only thing that I had control over in my life. And when that's the only thing that you have control over in your life, what do? You go balls to the wall. So I started counting everything. Everything. I was judging me. I was judging other people. I was pinching my fat in the car to see if I had lost enough weight. I had allowed myself to be in a position of victimization. Even though it could have been rough, no matter what has happened in my life, I know I have had a part, and this is me owning every single bit of it. 1000%. Growing up in high school, I did not think I was a cool person. Very well could have just self-loathed myself into that position. I was bullied really bad all growing up. So my self-worth was about this. And then the anxiety kicked in, and then it was about like this. And then the depression kicked in on top of that, and then it was like this. I've gotten into fitness. I've been bullied. I don't think I'm worth it. I've developed an eating disorder. I am now 108 pounds at 11% body fat and don't think it's enough, and have picked up boxing. This is where the shift happened. Boxing taught me humility. It taught me to go into the darkness. It taught me to work harder and faster and stronger than anybody else, because that's what it took. Nothing was gonna come easy to me. And I went, all right, let's fucking go. My coach at the time said, I know you want to be a coach, let's get you coaching. He said, let's write a workout. I went, what? How do you do that? I wrote a workout, and I started coaching youth with him, and life happened, and then this stuff went down with my dad and all of that. And fast forward, I am now unemployed, living with my mom, and no longer boxing. My mom goes, you should go apply to Bonefish. And I'm like, fuck that, I'm never going back to the restaurant. She goes, you should go to Bonefish. And I'm like, so I applied to Bonefish, and I got hired on the spot, which was pretty fucking dope because I didn't have a job. And enter the human. Sorry, Della. I'm not sorry. Trevor was my corporate trainer at Bonefish. Was adorable and couldn't help but slip him my number. Slipped him my number, we went on a date, and the rest is history. I can tell you down to the day when I called my mom and I said, I don't know why the fuck I gotta do this, but I gotta become a personal trainer. She goes, why? I'm like, I don't know. I have to do it because I need people to feel this. Thank you. So that came out of nowhere. We went to a movie, we walked into Gold's, they said, come on in, let's get you an interview, and then the rest is history. At this time, I'm getting my certification, and I get it in 6 weeks. That happened by the fate of whatever God you believe in. For some reason, like at the time that I'm being pushed to apply to Bonefish, there was like this block with personal training. I meet the director of education, who is Scott, thank you, who taught me that life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. Scott, you changed my life in more ways than I think you will ever know. simply by allowing me to understand that my energy was powerful, that I had it in me, and that I could make this shit fucking happen. And we're doing it. It's so cool. So thank you. Please hold. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Fuck, Scott. Okay, thank you guys. And Sylvia. Sylvia was one of my boxing clients, his wife, which is why he asked me to come to Simi Valley. And then I left in 3 weeks because I had to come out to Florida. I didn't know what it was. I knew that Trev and I had to give this a shot. We were long distance for 6 months after we met at Bonefish. And it was the best decision I ever made. Thank you for taking on my crazy ass. I really appreciate it. Long story longer, I end up here in Florida. I get brought on as a master trainer at LA Fitness, and I meet the most incredible human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And I found that my job is not just to get you fit, that you can just come to me and talk, because I get it. Taking like a lot of deep breaths. And it was a year ago that my man, this is gonna be another one, fuck! Sorry, hold on. This is just one of those things where you don't realize how much you've been through until you look back at it. I'm just overwhelmed by everything that I've been through. There's so much that I haven't touched on, and I'm really just trying to give you the cliff notes. About a year ago, we officially started BMAC Fit as a journey online, to start an online presence, to start a conversation. And I had no idea that this was gonna be the conversation, and I am so glad that it is. I am so happy and blessed and honored today to stand here and be a voice for people who don't feel like they have one, to be a voice for people who don't think that they're worth it, for the losers and the misfits, and all of the other people who weren't cool in high school, and you're loved, and everything that you've been through is so fucking worth it. And it's only gonna, just like these little bricks, it's just gonna be what builds you. So it was about a year ago that my guy and his best friend approached Ben Mikulski in Tampa to work for their media team and to become their media team. And little did I know that this whole experience was going to impact me probably more than all of them combined. It was because of the information that Ben was putting out and our conversations that I realized I wasn't crazy, that I realized I could be a fucking entrepreneur, that the energy that I thought was here to break me is here to build me. Every fucking thing that you think right now is destroying you. Like, this video is terrifying. But thank you for letting me know I'm not crazy, for letting me know I could do this. And I want to say thank you to all the people who told me that I couldn't, not to be bitchy, but thank you, because every single person that stood in front of me and said no, or did it behind my back and laughed at me, thank you. Because every single story I've ever been through culminates to one thing. You fucking matter. That nothing in your life, regardless of how dark and fucking awful it might seem, is here to break you down. It will only break you down if you let it. And that is a decision that you have to make. And it was around that time that I made that decision. And I have not looked back. And there is not a thing I put out here that I go, man, I shouldn't have said that. Fuck no. Because you need to hear it, somebody needs to hear it, and somebody's not saying it, so I fucking will. because I don't want anyone to go through life feeling unwanted. Every single one of you has something to offer, and you just need someone to help you, like, dust it off a little bit. It's like poof, pixie dust. Oh my God. Look at all of your gifts. And fitness is the way that I do that. It's the experience of it, of going, I could have said no, and I didn't. I pushed myself a little bit harder. I set a new limit. That is the only way you will grow. These are the cliff notes of my story. I'm sorry if I bored you. I'm sorry for crying. But somebody needed to hear it. And thank you for watching it if you did. Oh, however long this is gonna be, I'm so sorry. I'm here for you. Let's make life happen for you. Not to you. Because you got way more power in you than you will ever acknowledge. And I just want to be there to help you find it. Thank you.